Okay. So my case study is about, well, a lot has changed since I scheduled. So I was first going to talk about how from my last case study from last term, in regards to like the poor case management and stuff like that, I did ask if I can possibly be removed, if it wasn't going to get better, which it didn't get better. So then I was removed into first grade, especially because we had three deaf students now in first grade. So we needed at least another interpreter. We needed at least two, because that's a lot for one interpreter. So they put me in there. And it was great. I loved first grade. But then regarding one student, she was a nutcase. Like she literally, like she's such a good kid when she really wants to be. And I'm sure there's probably a lot of things that influence her behavior at home, and especially before at her old school, she didn't have an interpreter. So she was just like thrown under the bus. So the only way for her to get recognized was her to lash out, be mean, do have aggressive behavior. And so then the school notified, her old school notified our school that I work at now, which is Laverne Guy-Nora Elementary School in Naples. And they established a DHH program just about yeah, last year. It just happened, the 1 year anniversary. So she got moved here. She takes like a transportation bus for here. But she still carries on those really aggressive behaviors. So like she's like a flick of a switch. And like you can tell because she'll give you that look. Where like it's not just like just ignoring the interpreter, like she literally gets physically aggressive. Like she'll hit me. She slapped me a few times across the face. She like would come up and sneakily behind me and like shove me, where one time like I literally fell on top of the other interpreter when we were talking. Um there was, which I get it for deaf kids not liking music, again, because they can really hear, and the music teacher doesn't really provide like anything for them to even feel like vibrations or anything regarding to music. So I guess music is definitely like a switch for her. And like if you like, we had to evacuate the room twice because she took apart a xylophone and was chucking the metal pieces at people. I even got hit by one. The actual sticks where you play, she was chucking them. She chucked a maraca. She damaged quite a bit of school property. Um, so yeah, I expressed a lot of concern in regards to that situation. And I kept asking, like, obviously my mentor would see it too. And my mentor was expressing it to our supervisors um, and our like the actual owners of the company. And so until one day where I needed half off for my Slippy test, my big boss came in, which is a male, which the teacher of the student asked maybe if a male interpreter could come in if there was any in our agency, just because maybe that male influence might, I don't know, like not cause her to have that type of reaction. No, it didn't. And if anything, it got really worse. And my boss had a field day that day with my, where it was so bad where he did not want me to be in that situation. So then I got moved back to third grade, where with the other interpreter, she said she never had any of the problems that I did. But I think that's just because the students, I'm young and they just viewed me as one of them. And even though setting up those boundaries, they just really didn't listen. Like, so I asked the teacher that day, like literally that morning walking in, I was like, we need to have a strict talk with the whole class, which we did, and it's gotten a lot better. But now I'm just dealing a lot of kids signing like inappropriate things towards me in regards to like not like like they'll just sign like, like BITCH, or like, or like I don't know, they do some like weird thing where they're like shh, like this. And I'm like, I don't even know what that means. Like so I think they just came up with their own sign language in regards to some things too that they are viewing as like disrespectful and stuff like that. So um yeah, so I just didn't know if you guys had any input in regards to, again, maybe setting up more stricter boundaries, if you guys have ever dealt with um a student, because again in the future I'm sure that's not going to be the first or the last time I might deal with a younger student that has aggressive behavioral issue problems. or how to handle it. Because honestly, I was scared to do anything because, again, with the laws today, you can't touch them, you can't follow them, you can't chase after them. Like, even if like she's whacking me and hitting me hard, like I can't really lay a hand on her or like touch her or anything, you know? So, um, yeah, I just like, I just kind of took the beating and kept my mouth shut until school ended and I called my boss. So I just didn't know if you guys, had any input or any advice or I don't know. There's a lot in this case study because a lot has happened over the period of scheduling it to now.
Let me see if my okay. I went, I don't know, Brooke. I've not experienced that. Now, one of the schools that I work in has a little boy who is very aggressive. And he attacks, but I mean, he has almost, there's obviously another mental issue along with the fact that I think he has a terrible home life and his mother has no communication.
Oh,
So he attacks the deaf mentor and he attacks the teacher.
yeah, that's kind of
But
a situation.
but he has never when I've been in the room, I mean, he's attacking the other people, but he hasn't attacked me. I wouldn't work in a place like that, Brooke.
Yeah,
It,
no,
it's
and
not worth it's not worth your injury.
well, and that's even because like the company asked me if I want to stay because they love me and stuff, I guess. I go, or I guess they feel bad 'cause they put me through the ringer with my internship. And they asked me to do summer and next year. But even this whole thing in regards to that child, like even just watching how the school handles it, like they're initiating still that behavior to continue. Because even though I'm not in that class, I still like am getting told that it's not changing. I mean, even when I was there in the class, like we would have to evacuate and like it would take like 12 people. Like they would have to call the cop. It was almost like a SWAT team coming in to calm this little girl down. And they would influence her by giving her snacks to calm her down or putting her in a separate room and then giving her dolls, like giving her all this stuff. So now like she associates and connects, oh, I'm gonna go crazy and I get all this stuff in return. Like, you know what I mean? And so then we even had a little uh another deaf girl that joined us from Haiti, no language or anything. So it was a privilege to watch her grow and improve over time and her now knowing 200 signs. Granted, it's still hard to communicate with her because she really has no language, but the fact that she knows 200 signs and now she qualifies for an interpreter next year is awesome. But then she started connecting that behavior and watching her and being like, oh, she's on a timer for every 15 minutes. If I do good, I get to make a bracelet, play with Play-Doh, or like, oh, if I start acting bad and going crazy, whipping off, chucking scissors, pencils, chucking the posters down off the walls. If I do that, principal and everybody comes with snacks, toys. So now she was starting to act like the kid and the other girl. And I'm just like, no, like this is not good. Like, and I even talked to the school about like the principal, the administrators about it, because like they were even asking me kind of my input and they're like, well, why is this behavior continuing? And I said, truthfully, I said, first of all, I really don't know. I just got placed in this like not even a week ago, and I can't really tell you anything about the kid. I was like, but second of all, I think she's continuing this behavior because it's not really trouble in the principal's office. Like there's nothing. Like it's more rewards, snacks, toys. So I think she's continuing to do it because you guys are like kind of influenced the behavior, which I don't think they really liked it. But my mentor even agreed with me. She chimed in and agreed and backed me up on that. And then the school then proceeded to think it was I was the main one there all week, and then one interpreter would split 3 days, and another interpreter would come in for 2 days. Um, and then the school administrative thought, all right, we don't really know what's going on. So then they started to blame us. Like I'm asking her to slap me, shove me, beat me with a xylophone metal piece. Like I'm like, it's not. So especially after that, I told my boss immediately and I was like, you need to come in. I am not returning to work unless you put me in another class. The fact that they're going to try to think that it's the interpreters when I'm here to help her be basically your little tutor, follow around, be your little shadow. I was like, and they're gonna think I'm the one who's saying, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, let's destroy things today.
Okay. Let me just ask you this question. When the other interpreters work with her, do they beat her? Do they
Yes,
beat them?
yes.
Okay, so
But I
obviously
think not
it's
as
not.
when I was in because I was like the new target, so it was more towards me. But they did warn me that that was gonna happen. She was like, they always like, trust me, you'll see it with us. But they're like, as soon as that new person comes in, like she targets them for like the first quite some time because she loves the reaction. She wants to see you break down.
You know what? You're probably not going to change that child at this point.
Yeah, no.
So you're going to have to make a decision that you're not going to be there and find another position
Yeah.
because once you're hurt, I don't know if I said it in one of the case conferences where you were, but I went to this women's uh, retreat conference, and there was a woman a teacher that had worked with my daughter, who's also a middle school teacher, who is had a traumatic brain injury from one of the students.
Yes, I do remember you
And
saying that.
she couldn't even keep a conversation. That's when it's too late.
Yeah.
That's when it's too late.
Yeah. No, this it's
How
definitely
you how you respond to that kind of behavior, because when that kind of behavior has come up for me in the last 30 something years, I don't respond friendly.
yeah,
And they make it they get the point real quick. You if you want to have a good day, you're gonna be a decent human being, or you're not going to be sitting in the classroom.
yeah.
You know, I don't know. I can't believe the school likes dealing with a terrorist, and that's what she is.
Really? And then they're trying to blame like me. And thankfully, I wasn't by myself. Thank God, because I really think that every day. Because I was like, because if I was by myself, then I'm just that one target. Where at least there was two other interpreters that are in the mix. But I'm just like, why are you guys blaming the interpreters?
Mm.
Like, I get it that you don't really know what's going on, but like, neither do we. First of all, and second of all, she did this prior to me also coming in. She did this last year. The school notified you last year about this girl's behavior issues doing the same thing. I said, and the fact that she's been doing it since and I guess there was one incident where it was really, really bad. Like, and I guess they put her in school suspension, but something, I don't know what happened, but something happened, I guess, really crazy where like they don't even put her in school suspension. Like even what was it? Oh, yesterday she had a crazy outburst again, this and that. The parents came in, which again, she can't really communicate with the parents because the parents are Spanish and don't know English and don't know sign language. And they let her take a nap. They thought, yeah, take a nap, put her back into class. And I guess they put her back into class. She went absolutely ballistic again. And then they took her out and she just spent the rest of the day coloring and playing with dolls. And I'm just like, well, no wonder why she doesn't want to be in class. No wonder why she keeps doing it. Like, so this whole internship has just been definitely a great, somewhat learning experience.
To circle back a little bit towards like the interpreting side of things, it sounds like you're in pretty like close proximity to the student. Like, is there a way to like separate yourself from them? I know when you're with like elementary school students, there is that aspect of like getting their attention and like you need that close contact, but maybe with like this student, which I know you said you're like removed, but like in classes with older students, it's more like stand towards the front and the kids know to look.
Yes.
Um, I'm
So
just trying to
in
in the
first grade,
classroom from an
they're
interpreting
very
perspective.
they were
You
like
can't control the
touchy. Yeah, they were very touchy, huggy, instantly grab you to like hug you. And so like we established boundaries where like in regards to ask, always keep like good distance, ask before like really approaching for a hug or anything, even for the hearing students because they were so like warm and fuzzy in regards to just like showing affection. But then with third grade, I don't really have that problem, only just with my student, but it's fine. Um, he doesn't really like, he just stands close to me. He doesn't really touch me or like hug or anything like that. And all the third graders definitely know that boundary in regards to like, but yeah, it's just the little kids. They just, even with like that, like as soon as like, especially the one girl, as soon as she would touch me, I would instantly like, no, like back up, like no, but again, I was always a little nervous to like put my hand out or like not push her, but just move her like a little bit because I could just like move her a little and then she could tell somebody, oh, like she really shoved me into a wall, like, and then it's like her word against my word, unless there's cameras, which there are cameras, but not in the classroom.
Right. So I work with elementary school students, not necessarily in an interpreting context, but that's just like my day job. Um, so I get it. There's like kindergarten and first grade are just like touchier. But I was interpreting, I had like a one-off assignment in an elementary school not too long ago with just like the agency that I had like special permission to bring an intern for a day. I don't really know how it happened, but um they still kind of had the interpreter like up at the front, like kind of like teaching those, this is how we use interpreters, we look to them, like this is a resource for you. um and so like I know, like I think it was with like fourth grade is the level I was with, which I know is like a little bit older, but maybe in situations like that, especially I guess like third grade kind of being like a cusp year, getting to take that like extra space, or like talking with the teacher about what it looks like to maybe position yourself better for like your safety, for the student safety, and then so that you don't have those like you're right, we shouldn't put our hands on them. That, like it's like a boundary in like the school system, but like what does it look like to say like, okay, I am leaving this space, like you do not touch me like that, I'm not going to move you, like I am moving, I'm removing myself.
There was,
And
there
what
was,
that means is you do interpretation while I'm
yeah.
like, you are missing on some communication while I am protecting myself. So I'm just trying to think of from like the interpreting side of what is something that can be like, what do
I
we
know
do
I
in situations?
definitely tried keeping my distance or staying more towards the whiteboard, even if they were sitting at their desks. And then there was one day where, again, I wasn't paying attention. And then the one interpreter that comes in 2 days always leaves like 10 minutes early at the end of the day. And so me and the teacher were just discussing things. And she came up from behind me and literally tried to pants me. And she was almost successful at it. And so, yeah, so I instantly like was like, no, 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 like signing. And I was like running away. Like she was chasing me around the classroom because I was like, I'm not gonna touch, I'm not gonna anything. I'm just gonna keep removing myself. And she literally kept following me to where the teacher had to grab her and hug her, like until I literally left through, there's like a hallway. So there's the room, then there's a hallway that connects to another classroom where I had to go through that hallway into the classroom, other classroom, and leave that way. So yeah. So I definitely do try. I was trying and it was great until when I'm off guard, like, when I'm not really paying attention or looking.
Yeah, I think definitely moments that kids kind of like pick up on of like, is this acceptable or not, or is this fun? Like, can I get away with this? Kind of, I think Pat, you were trying, like you were getting at that too, of like when to respond as like firm and like, we're done, that I'm, because I think that's definitely like kids put their hands on you, and it's kind of like, what do you do in that situation, especially in like a situation like that. But I just think about like with dogs, like if you're like running around, like they're gonna
Yeah.
chase you and excited
Mm.
and things like that, and kids like function in kind of like
Oh, that's
similar
true.
ways
I
of,
didn't even think of that because it was just like the heat of the
I'm
moment.
running around
I
trying to get
was
away
just
from
trying to leave.
you.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
becomes a game.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, and I didn't even think of that because I was just like, no, I gotta remove her, go to the other side of the room where like then she kept following me and I'm like, oh God. So then I was like, all right, I gotta leave now. Like I just gotta go. So yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what are good like consequences because I know you said it sounds like a lot of like bad behavior is being rewarded, but from like an interpreter standpoint, like there's only so much that we can do in a school setting. Like if the administrators or whatever, if they're not going to enforce behavior or whatever, like there's only so much that can be done of just kind of complaining that they're not doing a good job. But from like an interpreter, like what are some things that like we can do to say like, and maybe that drawing a line of like, if you are not kind to me, we're not going to talk. I will strictly interpret, but then I'm going to
Mhm,
ignore
mhm,
And so
and like
that
kind of
my next thing
emotional.
because
No.
I expressed so much concern over that where again there was three deaf kids. So then like even the head TOD and like my mentor and then my bosses were like, all right, Brooke, you only which this was before my boss came in, was like, all right, ignore it. Like don't even interpret for her. There's another person there, especially the other girl that comes in 2 days. She worked with her last year. And then the other one's been working with her since the beginning of the year. So they're like, those two can take care of her, and then and help out the other girl that's from Haiti. But you're strictly with the boy, which is my third grader's little brother, and he's so cute. I can't wait to see like his language, his skill, like everything. Like he's amazing for a first grader. Like it's absolutely insane. Like mental math, like he's oh my God, I cannot wait to see him when he gets older because he's just gonna be my mind is shocked with him. So when they told me to strictly just be with him, I'm like, fine, yeah, I will glad I will gladly. But even then, like he even gave her more of like an incentive, like ignore. Yeah, well, I'm still gonna like bust her chops, like, so I was just like, I need to get out of like I need to get out of here. I was like, there's no winning with this girl. And I was like, and first of all, I don't get paid enough to deal with that. And second of all, I'm just not gonna get treated like a punching bag. Like I'm not. Like I could go gladly find another internship or even the school that the other agency that wants to hire me now, because when I did my interview with them, like I expressed like if these concerns were to come up again, like, what would you guys kind of do? Or like, and like even instantly she was like, well, if you're thinking of leaving, like you can even finish it right now with us. And I was just like, yeah, I was like, I definitely will let you know depending on how third grade goes again. But
I guess one thing I hear you talking, you know, it's almost like you're the prey. So when you run, just like Morgan said, the predator comes out farther in her. And but once you've let that go too far, I don't think you can, you're going to have a real hard time getting control of it. But like Morgan said, when the behavior becomes an issue, then just closing it down, and then when you reward good behavior. So a lot of times I've had students that I've used like a behavior chart, and and it doesn't take them long, and then I have a little reward like on Fridays. You have so many happy faces, you pick something out of that prize box I have or something, and that works remarkably well. And I've had them where like I always have that behavior sheet with me. And when I had a little boy at one time, he really tried to push it. As soon as my hand went down for that clipboard, it's like he got a miracle healing. Oh yeah, But when I pull that board out, that sad face is going down there. And it was so funny because last week I have that high schooler, but cognitively she's very low because she's Downs and has autism. and is profoundly deaf, and they didn't do any language with her. Um, we were in a room, and she loves to play this game where she pulls numbers, and there's a hundreds chart, and she finds those little numbers on that hundreds chart and covers them with these little gemstones. And so she was down there doing it. Well, I noticed that her pants had slipped down and they were way too low. They were showing part of her bottom. So I told her, stand up and pull up your pants. And so I could tell she does, she kind of will twist away from you where you can't see her face when she's wanting to ignore you. I told her, I said, stand up. So one of the aides who's been with her a long time ran over there and was trying to, kind of coax her into standing up. And she took her hands, and when she dropped, she wouldn't let her have her hands. So I said, that's it. I'm going to go get my behavior chart. So when I came back, the aide said, oh, I got her up off the floor. I said, well, it's too late. I said, she's going to have a straight face for that, and it's going home because mama will respond to it when it gets home. And I took everything away from her. She sat there. So, well, she'd gotten up into the chair, so she sat in that chair and just kind of watched everybody playing around. And then I looked over there and I saw her stand up and pull her pants up. I thought, oh my gosh, she's going to pull them all the way up to her neck. I mean, she was like, I am really doing this, pulling my pants up. And so at first I thought, I'm not even going to give her the board back, the game that she likes to play. And then I thought, no, because she has obeyed what I asked her to do. So I went over there and I said, thank you for pulling up your pants. And I gave her the board. And no more problems with her the rest of the day. But the paper went home. But you can really do a lot just with those behavior sheets.
I might do that, especially with the kid again, the third grader that I'm with now, and I was in beginning, sweet as pie, and he's language delayed, but really no behavior problems or anything. But in regards to him being a little bit lazy or wanting me to do his work, I probably will do it in regards to that, or like reward him when he does. Like he loves gummy bears, so like maybe get him gummy worms or gummy bears and every single
Yeah.
and give that. So that is, I will definitely go to the store in the morning tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and even if you give them, like I had one student who it was terrible because kindergarten was way on one end of the school, and the special ed that he would go in back and forth was all the way on the other end of the school. And this boy, I mean, he had no discipline at home. And I would just have a pocket full of Skittles, and we go so far, and I said, good job, and I give him a Skittle. And finally, we got to where we could go from one end of the school to the other without him having them. But you have to do something in training because there's no training. But rewarding when you reward the behavior that you want.
Right.
No, I will definitely do that, especially with my student now, just he's just very lazy. And I just think that's from his previous interpreter before me, because I know the teacher expressed saying that like she saw like him writing notes for her, like for him, and like literally doing everything, telling the answers for tests. Like they even had to redo his state testing because the start of the year he was like first grade material. And then magically with her, he jumped to like almost fifth grade like scores. And then they just retested him again, and it was like again first grade, so making a little bit progress, but not really needs to be at third grade. But she's already stayed back, but he's just going to continue because they're not going to hold him back again. And so like they even like asked me, and they're like, do you think he deserved that score? Like when it was with his old interpreter, I was like, I don't even know how he got that score. Granted, he's a bright, smart kid, but there is no way, and especially in like 2 months, he made that insane amount of progress where he's like fifth grade level, like reading everything, where he's really, especially reading, he's still like kindergarten, first grade. So yeah. Um, yeah. No, I don't know. Because at first they didn't know like if it was me or not, but then yeah, no. Then yeah. Yeah, it's been crazy internship.
Yeah. I
I do not
I just want
2 minutes.
wouldn't stay in a place that it didn't look like it was going to be successful with the student.
Yeah, no. And I definitely even still see progress with the kid that I'm with now again from the start of the internship to now. Like, it's just again him being lazy, and when he wants to focus, he focuses, and when he doesn't wants me to do his work, he'll try to. But yeah, in regards to that, I literally set my foot down. Like I even was like not mean in class, but like I let the girl know who was acting like that. I will not tolerate it, this and that, to see maybe she would stop. And she did a little bit, but then still pushed my buttons. But especially the agency and the school, I was like, I will not, like, I'm not showing up tomorrow unless I am back where I first originally was, or with a different student, different school, or same school, different student. I was like, I am not putting myself in that situation. And yeah, no, my boss came in, saw it, and totally agreed with me. And yeah, yeah. So now I'm back, which I'm very happy. Um, with, especially the classroom management, and the teacher has more of a background in regards backing me up and letting kids know, and not really what my role is, my authority, this and that, and to view me as like almost like like literally view me as an adult. Like I'm not your friend. Um, so yeah, it's just been a crazy roller coaster for me. I don't really know what to say. It's just been so nuts. Even at one point, like I didn't even enjoy somewhat going to work, which I love interpreting. I love everything, but like when you're stuck in that mindset of just like, especially mentally draining, I'm like, I know I'm gonna get hit today at least 5 times, this and that. The school now thinks it's interpreters doing it. Like, I was like, I don't even know, like, I don't even know what to do anymore. I was like, I can't win. I was like, I can't win. So, but yeah, I probably will not work for this agency. I know I have less than a minute, so this is gonna close unless you guys want to pop back on.
I have to go, but
And me too.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming. Thank you all so much. It's definitely been a learning lesson, and I will not be working for this agency or the school.
I hope you find a good place.
Have more of a, support.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you coming. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, have a good night, ladies.
Yes, you too.
Thanks, Brooke. Take
Bye.
care of yourself.
Bye.
Bye.
Mm.